Even DoorDash is coming right out and stating that Seattle's liberal, utopian, socialist policies are causing them to charge the most prices for their delivery in Seattle in any of their markets. So I did a quick search on this. I wanted to find out how much a burrito would cost me. $34 for a burrito. $34 for a burrito to be delivered in Seattle. Let's get into it. What does that look like? Here we go. So back in the day, back during the pandemic, I used to routinely order DoorDash over in Seattle. I'd sometimes have it delivered to one of my kids' homes. They both lived in Seattle. One lives in Seattle now still. And, or at, where I've got my boat located and get it delivered to the boat. So I went into my favorite, Mexican restaurant. Can we say Mexican? I think we can because it's related to food, right? La Palmera Family Mexican. It's dynamite food and it's a nice restaurant. So this is an upscale burrito, meaning it's got rice and refried beans to it, right? Okay. It's chicken. It's chicken though. So I priced out the chicken burrito. Base price is $24. I know. We could go with a cheaper fast food delivery option, but I wanted a decent burrito to give you guys an idea. This is for one person for lunch, a burrito with a couple of sides. Base price is $24. Now, before tip and before anything else, you have fees and estimated tax of $12.32. They have wiped out the delivery fee of $3.49 with the line through it, and they've said 00. I don't know if you can see that. Probably not, but I'm not trying to not be transparent. But so we got $24, we got $12.32, and then dash or tip of $2.50. That comes to $38.82. So not even $34, like I was saying, $38.82. I mean, $38.82 for a burrito. That's with tip, $2.50 tip. Fees and delivery, $12.32. I mean, tax is going to be 10%, right? So $2. So you got $10 in delivery fees is bottom line. You got $10 in fees because Seattle has these minimum hourly wages that their workers in the fast food and delivery industry are supposed to get. And, it's causing DoorDash to drive up their prices in order to make a profit, and people are upset. DoorDash raises delivery fees in Seattle, cites city as its most expensive market. DoorDash will increase its service fees on all deliveries in Seattle starting this month. Food delivery service cited Seattle's extreme regulations. That's socialist regulations. Let's cap rent, housing. We don't really need any until we do, so let's not make that easy to build. What else we got? I mean, let's legalize drugs. Anything you can think of that's harebrained is here. And we're starting to see all of the impacts of that. DoorDash, most expensive in the nation because of our liberal socialist utopia leadership. Food delivery service cited Seattle's extreme regulations as the cause for increasing its operating costs in the city, noting Seattle is now the most expensive market to facilitate delivery in the U.S. This just does not surprise me at all. Although DoorDash did not announce the specific fee increase, company mentioned that the raised service fees are in an effort to continue operating within Seattle. How can we make a profit? Because as it is now, we're paying out to our employees and we don't have enough money for profit. So we got to jack that up. We got to pad that a little bit with yet another fee built in. And that's where that whole $12 of fees and taxes comes in. They're going to bury it there, right? A market that operated at a loss for DoorDash in 2024. So they got to jack up their, junk fees and maybe they can stay in business. The average fees for consumers in Seattle are the highest in the country, more than twice as high as the average fee per order in cities like Denver, San Francisco, and Portland. Okay, so you're going to have like $6 there. I'd be curious for somebody in Portland to, or any one of these cities, Denver, San Fran, Portland, put in a $24 item that Let me know in the comments what yours comes out to total. Mine was $38.82, and that was with a $2.50 tip. Despite clear data showing that Seattle's delivery policies have led to lower earnings for Dashers, this is where the whole communism thing, socialism thing, it just doesn't work. It's proven time and time and time again, it doesn't work. Lower earnings for Dashers, fewer orders for merchant partners, and more expensive experience for consumers. So the consumer loses out. The restaurant, my Mexican restaurant, it loses out. And the DoorDashers, the employees or the independent contractors for DoorDash, they're losing out. So and if DoorDash isn't making any money, what's the point? And that's what happens in a socialist utopia. That is what happens. You got zero. Nothing happens. It eventually comes to a grinding close because it can't operate. Because unless you're subsidized through the city, and the city doesn't have money to be spending on this kind of ridiculousness, they just don't. Delivery workers in Seattle are required by law to be compensated with nearly $30 per hour before mileage and tips. We need to give our workers a living wage. All right, that's fine, but the business is going to close. Now your living wage is no longer a wage. It is you're fired. That's how this goes. $30 per hour before mileage and tips, which is higher than Seattle's minimum wage of $20.76 per hour. So delivery workers, that's what Seattle kind of basically specified. And it's basically $30 an hour. They got to make $30 an hour. Yeah, it is literally socialism. We are watching socialism in progress. This doesn't make any sense. Whether the businesses can sustain this or not, nope, just do it because our employees need a living wage until they're fired and then they're on unemployment, which kind of mitigates the whole concept of a living wage. DoorDash sent warnings to the Seattle City Council regarding the cost of the regulations and implications on its business. Yeah, Seattle City doesn't care. A bunch of commies. They are. Even if they're not outrageously outward like 𝗪𝗧𝗛𝗏 was, they still go down this road of, we got to take care of our employees. What if the business can't afford it? What if it doesn't make sense? What if there isn't room within that profit equation for everybody to make their piece of pie? Don't care. Our employees need a living wage. DoorDash explained further that the combination of Seattle's strict pay laws and deactivation policies has led to the company's decision to increase fees. Guys, we can't keep going here. We got to do something. We got to come up with something. 1 year after Seattle's new policies took effect, the average monthly revenue per store on DoorDash fell by 2%, which I thought, that is not terrible. That is not awful. But remember, we're coming out of the whole pandemic thing, and all these businesses are just basically rocked, and restaurants, and there aren't as many people in our downtown cores anymore. Meanwhile, stores in Denver, San Francisco, and Portland had sales rise by more than 10%. So what are other cities similar in size to Seattle doing? How are they doing? Well, they didn't lose 2% of business. They gained 10% revenue per store. That right there, in real estate appraisal terms, is your paired sale analysis. All right, the one exception between Seattle and Denver, San Fran, and Portland is that they've got these really onerous, high delivery fee expectations for their employees. We've gotten together as a city and said, workers of the world unite should be great because, communism has worked so many times well in the past. Cuba, perfect example. Yeah, it's going great there, huh? Yeah. DoorDash also explained that its delivery drivers have received half as many daily delivery opportunities compared to before Seattle's delivery pay law. There's your perfect example. So what were your stats before? Well, about double what they are now. Huh. What can we attribute that to? Well, downturn in the industry. Well, how's San Fran doing? Up 10%. Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. Wild stuff, right? Half as many delivery opportunities compared to Seattle's delivery pay law went into effect, and wait times have been 3 times longer. So now you're paying $38 for a burrito, and your wait time is 3 times as long? pass. I haven't ordered DoorDash. I think I've ordered DoorDash once in probably the last couple of years since all of these fees have gone into effect. But a $12 fee on a base item of $24, 50% in fees between taxes and delivery costs. I mean, they're throwing these in there as fees, even though they're telling me that my delivery is free. You know what I mean? Literally zero for the delivery fee, but $12 for assorted fees. That is a junk fee. But they're having to do this to make a go in Seattle. They won't make a go, and they'll dip out of Seattle. Enough is enough. Seattle's local businesses, dashers, and consumers are all feeling the squeeze of this over-regulation. That's what it is. Now, City of Seattle will try and back that off. And then DoorDash will say, we still can't make money. They'll pull out of the market. We won't have DoorDash. We'll have Uber Eats. And Seattle will say, well, we're just such a special city that our employees, can't make a living wage here. And so it was the failure of the business. Instead of looking at policy. This is a policy-driven issue, right? We don't really care what the market says as far as what these employees are worth per hour. We're just going to pay them because that's what we decided. We just decided that. We're continuing to stand beside the countless advocates who are working to oppose this policy. Yeah, totally. I mean, who wants a $38 burrito with tip? One burrito, $38. That's what two should be, right? 19 a pop, including tip and tax. Seattle now faces the highest DoorDash delivery prices in the U.S. Let's see what Como has to say. Starting this month, more increases, DoorDash fees. PayUp law enacted January 2024 was supposed to ensure a minimum wage paid by gig worker companies, including DoorDash, Uber Eats, and Instacart. But some restaurants and consumers have said it backfired. What? A socialist commie policy that backfired? I don't believe that for a second. They all work. They always work. Look at Cuba. Seattle's regulations require delivery platforms to pay workers nearly $30 an hour before mileage and tips, which DoorDash significantly higher than the city's minimum wage. In order to meet the $26.40 an hour minimum wage before tips requirements, DoorDash tacked on a $4.99 fee to all orders. Just boom. Boom. And in August 2024, added an additional $1.99 for service orders from DashPass. And so you just layered up, you got all these fees, and that's how you get a $38 burrito. I mean, I'm just not going to order. At that point in time, I'm going to wait till I get home to eat, right? I'm really hungry. I could use a burrito now. $38? I'll wait. Not that hungry. Yeah. Not that hungry. The July 2025 announcement, DoorDash did not say what exactly the service fee increase will be this time, but it makes the third increase in just under a year. Third increase. Got to keep tapping on there because we don't have the finances to make this go. Our expenses on our labor are through the roof, literally. This is Seattle policy biting Seattle right in the ass. That's what it is. And Seattle constituents, if you can't see this, you are a knucklehead. You are brain dead and a knucklehead. But we know we've got a lot of those folks because they keep just voting blue in Seattle, Washington State. At that last election, right? Let's just go further blue because it's all working out great. DoorDash for everybody. It's $38 a burrito. We can't do that. These measures have made Seattle the most expensive market for delivery service in the U.S. Average fees for Seattle consumers are now the highest in the country, more than double. We read that. 35% rise in delivery delays. That's excellent. In Seattle between December 2023 and December 2024. Talk about the 2% drop, and other cities saw a 10% increase. So here's something interesting. Como News previously spoke with Spicewalla owner 𝗪𝗥𝗘𝗠𝗜𝗨𝗠, who reported that fees led to far fewer orders, and his 3 restaurants lost roughly 30% of their delivery business. People don't want to order DoorDash. You got a $38 burrito. One burrito. It's nuts. Think we need to understand what the fees are by the delivery partners, how much commission they're charging the restaurants, how much the drivers are actually earning nowadays, and then how much money is actually being spent by consumers, he explained. You know, the consumers have basically answered that, and they are saying the consumers are spending zero because so many of the consumers with this next fee, with the last fee, I said, I'm not doing this. This makes no sense. I'll literally go there and pick it up. You know what I mean? All right. It's going to take me 5 minutes to get there, 5 minutes to get back. I'll pick it up. And you don't have all that extra ridiculousness. DoorDash also claims its dashers, the intended beneficiaries of the law, are also struggling. What a shocker. Socialist workers in a socialist, brain dead economy where people are like, oh, I'm going to pay this and it'll just work out, are struggling? They are receiving half as many daily delivery offers and waiting 3 times longer for potential deliveries, leading to a more than 20% decrease in average hourly earnings from the end of 2023 to the end of 2024. 20% decrease in average hourly earnings, and yet I pay $38 for an effing burrito. Make that make sense, right? Whole thing. We saw it coming. We just knew where this was going. Keep jacking those costs up. People are going to say, I'm out. No can do. Things are expensive. A lot of people were happy with the pay they got and everything was working good. But now that they only get 1 delivery a day or 2 deliveries a day, that really cuts into their income. So things were noticeably better before these socialist commie laws went into place. They just were. They just were. Following complaints from DoorDash and local restaurants in April 2024, a year ago, City Council discussed rewriting the PayUp law to reduce PayUp. Now I'm going to pay down because I ain't paying nothing at all. Zero for the $38 burrito. PayUp law to reduce the hourly wage for gig workers to around $20, which DoorDash said could lead them to remove the $5 fee. All of this getting into business and dictating minimum wage on city level, state level, whatever it might be. Yeah. You got socialism going on. How's that work out? How's that working out for DoorDash? Everything's down. Orders are down. Money that the DoorDash delivery people, the money that I'm spending, it's all down. I think I've literally done 1 order since one of these. I think it was the $5 add-on fee. I think I could handle the $1.99 with the subscription. That one didn't bother me because I don't have the subscription thing. But it's like, whatever. This is just outrageous. $38 for a burrito. Yeah. As DoorDash continues to raise fees while blaming the regulations, some drivers and activists have called out the company for repeatedly raising the fees while blaming the city legislature. Well, who else are you going to blame? Who's to blame here? Who are you going to blame? Hey, I'm making less money. Company's making less money. They've got less orders. State is making less in taxes. The consumer is consuming less. Who do we blame? Who do we blame? Yeah, got nobody to blame but yourself. Those making the policy. They're trying to get out of paying their responsibility and pushing it off to the customers. So what this person, Lisa Liebacher from Seattle, stated, they take an $18 meal and turn it into a $35, $36, and now add 2 more onto that. Not going to do it. That's where I am, 24 to 38. Here we go. Worker of the world unite. Seattle has made it clear all workers deserve a minimum wage, and it's disappointing. DoorDash thinks it can get away with anything less and thinks that it can work with Council President Sarah Nelson to achieve a pay cut for workers. Working Washington Communications Director Hannah Sabio-Howell stated, just not that hard to figure out. You jack up the minimum wage that the market can't withstand, the market can't withhold. Company's going to have to do a bunch of fees to make a go of it. And those fees are going to drive people away. Not that hard to figure out. Even brain dead people can kind of figure that out. But apparently socialists and Democrats and communists can't. They just can't work out that the mechanics might go against them. And in their heads, they can't really understand how their policy could possibly fail because they've never run a business. They've never had accountability from the profit and loss standpoint. They've never had a capitalist enterprise, which is based off of making money. And when it doesn't, you either got to jack up those fees or you shut her down. And we're in the jack up of fees process right now. 3 inside of 2 years? Fantastic. I mean, this is a prime example of how Seattle is driving people out of Seattle. Because who in the world wants to buy a $38 burrito? I don't. Yeah, and I'm not going to. The answer would be no. Thank you very little. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'd love to have you subscribe. Hit that notification bell. We drop 2 a day, Monday through Friday, 1 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday. Hit that like button. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.